How'd you get into gyrating? How'd you figure that out?
Just when I started skateboarding, that's all I knew. It was like me and my friends used to skate these banks, and I was like the first one that could make it to the top of the bank by throwing and shifting my weight. And it worked, and so I just started doing it on the ground in front of my house. I played like this wall was a wave, and I would just like gyrate below it and then cut back into this driveway and do the full Bertleman.
Looking at this old equipment and interpreting it through a painting, I'm reliving all this again. But I'm just getting a different shading of it, a different angle of it. Because of that, it's adding a sense of enjoyment that I didn't think I would find at this point in my life for something that happened so long ago in my life. And that's affecting how I see the world now. Because now when I look at things, I'm looking at the separation of things. I'm looking at all the different colors and things. Which I love, the fact that I can still keep learning stuff. I try to have a number of creative endeavors that I do because I want to keep myself in the creative space as often as possible. And I want to keep myself in that space because it allows me to stay out of my head, and it allows me to go to a place that is what you might call non-linear. And it's a place where there are no guarantees. It's a place where it's more free form, and I'm getting my cues from that area rather than the cues from my brain. Gardening, painting, drawing, surfing, and learning new things. It's really important to experience humility on a constant basis. I've been wanting to paint my whole life. I'm an abstract drawer, and I thought I would be an abstract painter. And every time I did it, it just didn't work, and I was so disappointed I stopped. A very close friend of mine named Mike Shine is a painter and very talented one, lives in Bolinas. He was coming down the coast and staying at dirtbag hotels with the idea that he would do a painting in each hotel room. He came to my hometown. He invited me to his little dive motel, and he's painting. And I'm looking around this hotel room, and I said to Mike, I went, it would be really interesting to do a painting that fit into this room that we could hang here, and the people that own the hotel wouldn't even know that it wasn't ever here before. And he goes, that's a great idea, let's do it. So we did it that night, and we hung it the next morning. It was so much fun, we did it again. He stayed in a different hotel the next night, did the same thing. We did 4 hotels, and each of the paintings fit that specific room. Working with him and painting with him showed me a way into painting, and it showed me that I can paint other things besides abstract. And right when he left, I started painting and I couldn't stop. And then my girlfriend one day said, why don't you paint your skateboard collection? You've been wanting to show people this collection for such a long time. Why don't you paint parts of it? My immediate answer was, I can't because I don't know how to paint wood. But I did it anyways. So I go into my attic and I pull some of my old skateboards down and I start photographing them. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know, am I going to paint a whole board, a piece of a board, a truck, a wheel? And it just exploded. I've had this skateboard collection sitting in the dark for over 40 years. And I haven't found a way to share it with the world. And now this is one way to share it with the world. So what I'm doing now is I'm painting series. I'm doing a truck series, wheel series, old series, new series. So this is trucks, you know, and different angles, things like that. I actually got this from Lance Mountain. I don't have an independent truck, and I called Lance. I said, can you send me a picture of a dilapidated independent? And he sent me this that he had ground down to nothing. You can see the axle running through it. Old Bennett truck, you know, and they all have different patinas on them from how they, you know, how they degrade and stuff like that. This is an old Phoenix truck made by Going. This is a Going truck. And then this is like another series I'm doing, which is wheels and trucks. These old roller sports urethane wheels and stuff like that. I'm doing painting exactly the way I made skate videos. I learned how to make skate videos by making skate videos. That's how I learned to do it. I'm learning how to paint skateboards by painting skateboards. Let's go. Move it. 720 to fakie. On. Backside air. Up, you blew it. That's very weak. I seem to have a propensity to like painting corrosion. Before I was painting these, I was really fascinated by the graffitied garbage bins of New York. They're so beautiful, these things. They have so much character. Painting those bins taught me, in a sense, how to paint these old, dilapidated skateboards. Painting these old boards and these old trucks and wheels has made me appreciate the beauty of that garbage equipment. They're beautiful. They're rusted, they're dilapidated, but there's something so beautiful about all those old bolts and ball bearings and how corroded and rusted they are. I like it because there's so much character, and you can see that this piece of equipment has lived a phenomenal life, and it's still together. One of my boards is so old it's composting. It's actually rotting. There's kind of a beauty to that. It's going back to where it came from. So many of these boards I've not been intimate with in a very, very long time. I've moved them around, but I haven't studied them. And I had forgotten that graffiti were all over these boards from when I was 12 and 13 years of age. I built these boards by hand as a kid. And a board was a representation of who you are. It was a very personal thing. Now I'm taking that equipment and giving it a new life, in a sense, or a new perspective through the paintings. And it's giving me a way to see my skateboarding career from an angle I've never even looked at before. It's informing me of my own life. The older you get, the more calcified you can get. It's so easy to be calcified and fixed in your ways and fixed in your point of view, and it's so much harder to keep an open mind because gravity's just crushing us, wanting us to be calcified. And to not be that way, you have to swim against the current. When I rode my skateboard or I surfed, it was the only time in my life I felt beautiful. And every kid has to feel beautiful. Because when you feel beautiful, you feel connected to yourself and the world and to the ground. It's really dangerous to get good at something, because when you get good at something, it sometimes can prevent you from wanting to learn new things because you don't want to go backwards and put yourself in that kook phase. But when you keep yourself in that kook phase, you expose yourself, you make yourself vulnerable, and you open yourself up so life has a chance to get in you and work its magic on you. Go in and do something that you don't know how to do, and go spend months feeling insecure and uncertain. It's a horrible feeling, but it's really healthy to live that way. That plays out in every artistic part of my life. Doesn't matter whether I'm skateboarding, surfing, making a film, or painting. My process is the same in each one of them. That's the magic. Be a kook.